Before dancehall and reggae reached the world, Jamaica exported something far more dangerous: the Shower Posse. Born in Kingston's inner-city neighborhoods, this gang spread to the U.S., trafficking drugs, guns, and fear. In this video, we explore their rise, political ties, and violent expansion to cities like New York and Miami. You'll see how poverty, politics, and power created a transnational criminal network whose legacy still echoes today. Part 1. Origins in Kingston, Jamaica. The Shower Posse emerged in 1970s Kingston, Jamaica, especially in Tivoli Gardens, amid intense political rivalry between the People's National Party and Jamaica Labour Party. Aligned with the JLUP, the gang gained its name from its willingness to shower enemies with bullets. Combining street smarts with political loyalty, they helped consolidate power through intimidation and violence. Poverty and limited opportunity fueled their rise, offering protection, status, and income. Involvement in drugs, from marijuana to cocaine, became both a revenue source and a tool to expand influence, making the Shower Posse a feared force locally and abroad. Part 2. Expansion to the United States. By the 1980s, the Shower Posse expanded from Jamaica to U.S. cities with large Caribbean populations, including New York, Miami, and Toronto. Their growth was driven by lucrative cocaine and marijuana markets and connections to political and criminal networks back home. In New York, they integrated into Caribbean communities, while in Miami, they became notorious for violence and drug trafficking. Operations were highly organized, with members assigned to distribution, logistics, and enforcement. Beyond drugs, they smuggled firearms, laundered money, and maintained transnational networks, making law enforcement efforts difficult, as arrests in one city rarely disrupted their broader operations. Part 3. Political connections and strategy. One key element of the Shower Posse's longevity was its political connections. In Kingston, they operated with the tacit approval or direct support of the JLP. This allowed them to dominate neighborhoods, intimidate rivals, and maintain a steady flow of recruits. Politics provided both protection and legitimacy, as gang members were often shielded from prosecution while carrying out tasks beneficial to party leaders. These political ties extended into the diaspora. In U.S. cities, members leveraged community networks to establish safe houses, recruit loyal members, and coordinate international drug shipments. This combination of political loyalty, organizational structure, and criminal activity set the Shower Posse apart from other gangs, allowing them to survive law enforcement crackdowns and internal rivalries. Part 4. Notable crimes and violence. The Shower Posse became infamous for their violence. Their nickname reflected a culture of intimidation and enforcement, showering rivals and enemies with bullets to maintain control. Turf wars in Kingston were brutal, often resulting in mass casualties. In the U.S., Miami became a major flashpoint. The gang's activities contributed to the city's drug epidemic in the 1980s, alongside other cartels. Shootouts, assassinations, and open-air gunfights became a part of their reputation, cementing fear in both the Caribbean immigrant communities and broader populations. One of the gang's most notorious acts was their use of political assassinations in Jamaica, targeting rivals and community leaders to maintain JLP dominance. Their operations in the U.S., though focused on profit, maintained the same brutal enforcement tactics, demonstrating a continuity between political and criminal objectives. Part 5. Influence on drug trade. The Shower Posse played a significant role in the international drug trade. By the 1980s, cocaine and marijuana had become key commodities, and the gang capitalized on their transnational network to move drugs efficiently from the Caribbean to U.S. markets. Unlike smaller street gangs, the Shower Posse operated with a corporate structure. Roles were clearly defined, organizers coordinated shipments, distributors handled local sales, and enforcers maintained order and intimidation. This structure allowed them to scale operations and maintain influence across multiple cities. Their activities contributed to the rise of crack cocaine in Miami and other U.S. cities, amplifying social problems like addiction, violence, and poverty. Law enforcement efforts were often reactive, struggling to contain a network that spanned countries and operated with both secrecy and sophistication. Part 6. Law enforcement response. U.S. law enforcement struggled to address the transnational nature of the Shower Posse. Local police could arrest street-level members, but the gang's leadership often remained in Jamaica or relocated to other U.S. cities. The DEA and federal agencies eventually targeted the gang with coordinated operations focusing on drug trafficking, firearms violations, and money laundering. High-profile arrests and indictments in the 1980s and 1990s disrupted operations, but the gang's resilience and political connections allowed remnants to persist. Miami police described the Shower Posse as one of the most violent and organized gangs they had ever encountered. Their ability to recruit young men, control neighborhoods, and operate across borders made them difficult to dismantle entirely. Part 7. Cultural legacy and media portrayal. The Shower Posse has been immortalized in media, documentaries, and music. Films, news reports, and reggae lyrics often reference the gang, highlighting their violence, political connections, and influence on the drug trade. However, the portrayal often simplifies the complex socio-political context in which the gang emerged. Part 8. Social impact and community trauma. The gang's activities left a deep mark on communities both in Jamaica and the U.S. Families were disrupted, neighborhoods became unsafe, and cycles of violence perpetuated poverty and instability. Youth were often recruited into the gang, exposed to crime, and deprived of education or economic opportunity. In Jamaica, neighborhoods like Tivoli Gardens experienced political violence intertwined with gang activity. Part 9. Decline in current influence. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, law enforcement efforts, combined with changes in Jamaica's political landscape, led to a decline in the Shower Posse's influence. Key leaders were arrested or killed, international crackdowns disrupted drug shipments, and the gang's monopoly over neighborhoods weakened. Yet, remnants of the organization persist. Former members have moved into other criminal enterprises or legitimate business, while the gang's legacy continues to influence urban culture, music, and storytelling. Part 10. Lessons and reflections. The story of the Shower Posse is more than crime. It's a lesson in how systemic inequality, political corruption, and economic desperation can create enduring networks of violence. Their rise shows how youth respond to limited opportunity, how political structures can inadvertently empower criminal organizations, and how transnational networks operate with sophistication. By studying the Shower Posse, we can better understand the causes of urban violence, the challenges of policing transnational crime, and the importance of addressing root causes like poverty and marginalization. It's a cautionary tale that extends beyond Jamaica and the U.S., relevant to cities worldwide facing similar social challenges. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Comment below if you knew about the Shower Posse before this video, and click the notification bell to learn more about the untold histories of crime, culture, and survival around the world.